Welcome back to Casa. My name is Jorge. Today I have another exciting Dollar Tree DIY video because I'm going to be using some cement. Now, of course, cement is not sold at Dollar Tree, but I picked up this box or bag of all-purpose cement and I'm going to use this with some Dollar Tree items to create beautiful home decor that is, of course, elegant, that will stand the test of time, and more importantly, not look like Dollar Tree DIY projects, you know? So let's go ahead and get started. As you know, I love a challenge and I love a trash can. I actually love working with trash cans for projects. So I picked this up from Dollar Tree. Of course, a trash can. What could I possibly make with a trash can and some cement that doesn't look like a trash can?
The answer is antique style cement pots, yes, which seems to be a fan favorite here in Casa Refined. Here I am using two sets of trash bins. These are larger ones and then these white ones are a little bit smaller. This is going to create a cement mold for us to use. As I mentioned, the cement is not from Dollar Tree, but I picked this up from the hardware store for about $15 or so, and that'll get us through all of today's projects. Now I mixed this up with some water and poured it into the blue bin. Next, I placed the white Dollar Tree bin that I filled with some sand to weigh it down, but this could also work with maybe some stones or something heavy. I just happen to have this sand left over from other projects. Today I'm creating two different designs, so I repeated the same for the other bins and set everything aside to cure overnight. The next day and it's time to release these from the mold, which will be a bit of a challenge. I'll tell you why. Because I didn't add oil to the bins, so it's a little bit hard to remove. So at first I removed the sand. Next I added some hot water into the cement and into the bins, and with a little bit of elbow grease it did come out easily, no cracks, which is perfect. And of course I want to be careful when working with hot water. Before I start personalizing these with design, I'm going to clean them up a bit with some wet sanding. So essentially taking some water, wetting the cement and sanding it down. This is going to help reduce that cement dust in the air. Plus, I'm going to make it easier on myself with 6 Secret sandpaper to really knock off those edges and scuff up the sides. Let's have a little fun with these simple pots and give them some flair, some design interest. So I'm going to be using this rope from Dollar Tree plus a couple packs of this super gel to adhere it to the cement. And really the possibilities here are endless. You can make any design you want. So I decided for this first one to kind of just make this pot less boring by giving it some curviness, some waves, some just nice ornamental detail near the top here. The second pot, I opted for a ribbed effect, so I outlined with a pencil where I would put these strips of rope and just got to gluing. Now, I do have to say, maybe it's just me, but I feel like this is looking like a Kentucky Fried Chicken bucket. I don't know, do you see it? Of course, we want this to look uniform, so I'm going to add another layer of cement by mixing up some cement and some water to create a paste consistency. And I'm just going to use a brush and try to cover that rope as much as possible. While I'm at it, maybe give it some more texture around the rest of the pot. Of course, repeat for the other one, which is looking more like a KFC bucket, which reminds me of the Colonel who always says Kentucky Fried Chicken. He might even say this looks finger looking good. I let that cure overnight, and upon inspecting them, I could still see some of that rope peeking through, so I added another layer of cement, let that cure, and then just some light sanding to knock off some of that rough texture. Let's finish this up with some color to create a beautiful aged effect. A nice patina with some acrylic paint. I am watering it down quite a bit because I want that cement to still pull through, and this is going to be more of a wash, sort of a stain. Then I'm layering in some darker brown, some black, and this is the effect that it creates. Such a beautiful little pot. Both of them actually turned out quite nicely. Again, the possibilities are endless with these, but this is how I am styling them. Let me know your favorite.
Okay, I am so happy with these. They're actually heavy. They are so cool. They look like rustic old pots, you know? I feel like I probably could have made a drainage hole here if I were to use this as an actual pot, but I probably will use like a liner, you know, like you just insert the plants in there, or maybe use it as a vase or just something decorative. But the possibilities are endless with these. So let me know your favorite. For this project, I picked up this sort of plastic ruffled bowl. They sell these during like different holidays. I think this one was from Valentine's Day, but I think I saw one from like Halloween and just different holidays. They just change up the pattern. Doesn't really matter. We're looking for this shape here. So I'm going to create beautiful ruffled bowls using two techniques.
Both of these methods are pretty simple. The first is going to be a simple mold and pour. We have our mold, then we'll pour our cement. So we'll be using two, the bottom one to hold the cement, the top one to weigh it down. Sort of hard to estimate how much cement I am using, but I would say maybe about 2 to 3 cups, maybe 4. Then, of course, weighing it down with the top bowl full of cement, or sand, not cement, sorry. For the second method, I will be using this flour sack towel from Dollar Tree, but in hindsight, I would probably want a thicker material, but I'm experimenting here on Casa Refined. So this one, I basically can make multiple from this little towel. So I put it in between these two ruffled bowls, and then I'm just tracing it with a marker so that I know how much towel to cut. Literal perfection. Now it's time to make our cement mix, which is going to be more on the runny side, so adding more water than usual, and basically just dip our fabric in there, get it nice and wet, soaking wet, and place it onto our mold. Now if I were to do this again, I probably would try to maybe flip the mold upside down and just lay it on top, but here I decided to sandwich it in between these two. No weight required. Okay, so it is the next day. I've let both of these pretty much cure overnight, and now I'm gonna release them from the mold. Now this one with the towel, not the towel, the little fabric one, should be easy to release. Since this is plastic, I can just sort of wiggle it out. There we go, look at that. Okay, that's pretty neat, look at that. So it's pretty rigid. There are some areas, especially towards the ends here, where it's a little bit flexible. I'm gonna go ahead and actually add another layer or two of cement over this. But before I do, let's go ahead and take the other one out. Again, that flexible plastic really helps. No oil or anything. By the way, the reason I'm wearing gloves now is because I don't like that feeling of dusty cement on my hands. I actually really like this. So this is again the one that I poured, and it's got some nice thickness to it. It's not too heavy. It feels strong. Of course, it needs to cure for a few more days, but I'm actually very impressed with this. As I said before, if I were to do this project again, I would opt for a thicker fabric, maybe a towel, which I know they sell at Dollar Tree, because it's going to be more rigid. But nonetheless, here the second coat of the cement will help a little bit. I also took some time to wet sand the other bowl. I apologize, but I lost audio of this clip right here, but basically what I'm getting at is that these are different. They both give different vibes. One is more fragile, one is more, I guess, solid feeling, which I also added another layer of cement to this one. Totally unnecessary, by the way. And now I'm in the home stretch. Let's finish these up and add some paint because I want to create some color variation and make these bowls less cement-like and more sculptural, if you know what I mean. the more delicate ruffled bowl, I just opted for an off-white and kind of just let that cement kind of come through. For the next one, I opted for a warmer look with some khaki color, again watering it down so I can allow some of that cement to still peek through. Some of that paint with a dry paper towel and just dabbed it out. Then I layered in some white, and here is the final result of these two beautiful little bowls. Each one has a different personality. In fact, I would say they are cousins, not siblings, cousins, but they're still elegant. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. Let's just dive right into this one because I get a lot of requests for textured artwork. This one, of course, is a Dollar Tree, a smaller scale, but this could easily be recreated in different scales and configurations. Here I'm just taking one of these canvas panels from Dollar Tree, and I want this piece to really be full of depth, not feel flat. So just creating some color variation with this khaki acrylic paint and watering it down, more of a watercolor, I would say. The key to this art piece is imperfection, not trying hard, just let it be. So here I'm using some acrylic paint. Also, I'm using this squeegee from Dollar Tree, plus some water and this flour sack. First, I'm going to cut this down to the right size. Doesn't really matter. I just want this to fit onto the canvas panel. I'm adhering the fabric to the panel with some Mod Podge, which I buy the large size in bulk to save money. I have also seen smaller ones at Dollar Tree, and to that I added some water plus some paint. Next, I soak the fabric in this mixture and squeeze it out, and then I'm just going to apply it onto our canvas panel. My initial idea was to use this squeegee to adhere it, but I find it to be kind of challenging, and I actually wanted to preserve some of the texture, so I opted to just use my hands. You might be asking, Jorge, where is the cement in all this? Honestly, great question. In fact, I kind of forgot this was a cement video for a moment. So I mixed up a batch of cement, slushy water, and kind of drizzled it on top. Yes, more of a secondary thought if we're being fully honest here, but I just thought I wanted to incorporate it somehow. If I were to do this again, I probably would make this cement a little bit thicker and give it more of a main character energy rather than just an extra. Set that aside to dry, but let me show you something that's actual cement.
Speaking of cement decor, check these out. So I actually made these recently. These are the Aria sort of trinket dish holders, perfect for maybe putting like a candle, maybe some jewelry. The possibilities are endless, and these are now available in this limited edition, limited time color that I created, sort of like a marbled effect with some muted green, some brown, some taupe colors, because every design vignette deserves a little color. So get one for yourself, for a friend. There's this large one, medium size, and the tapered candle holder sets. Get them all, get one. I'll put a 10% discount in the description box, and of course the link to these if you want to check these out.
My piece is now fully dry. I understand this is not necessarily for everybody. It has more of a wabi-sabi feeling to it to some extent, so I went ahead and put it on this frame from Dollar Tree. I did keep the glass in the back in case I ever want to use it, but this is the final result. Again, the possibilities with this technique can be endless.
You know, I really like this. I actually like the frame from Dollar Tree too. It kind of has like this faux leather look to it. Of course, with that textured artwork, this is just beautiful, just for a simple, small little vignette. Or you can take the principles from this and create something larger. But if you do, definitely tag me. I want to see what you're working on.
Appreciate you for sticking around this long. This final project's quite great. So I actually picked up this plastic platter from the party section at Dollar Tree. Also this cooling rack from the kitchen section. And I'm gonna cut it to size with these wire cutters. I think they also sell them at Dollar Tree actually. I'm also using these mini bowls from the party section, a total of 6. So I'm going to mix up my cement mix with some water, regular consistency. Creating a riser, right? So note that this wire is going to create extra reinforcements since I could potentially put something heavy on top. We don't want this piece to crack. We want this to stand the test of time. So I poured it onto our mold here and we're just going to let that cure overnight. I will also be filling up these smaller cups that will serve as little feet for the stand. You know, the cement actually popped out quite easily, and now I'm going to glue the feet to the riser here. I'm using some super gel from Dollar Tree, but to be extra secure, I'm using some Gorilla Glue. I want these to stand the test of time. This is a good riser now as is, but I'm a perfectionist, so I'm going to scuff this up with some wet sanding, also clean up the edges because I'm going to layer another layer of cement basically. Of course, this is kind of a theme that you're seeing in this video. The reason I like to add a second layer is because this makes the piece look more uniform. Plus it adds some texture and it gives it more of a monolithic stone look to some extent. That cured, some wet sanding will knock off some of those high points and make sure that the texture is visible but smooth. And now I will add some color, which it seems that I tend to lean towards that old world look when working with cement and just make things look old as heck. So here just some brown paint, lots of water, and again letting that cement peek through, layering it with something lighter, rubbing it with my hands, and just create something delicious. Now this cement riser could potentially be a plant stand or something that might be exposed to water, so I would opt to seal this with a cement sealer, but to keep it within Dollar Tree range, I would maybe use some craft glue or some Mod Podge, add some water to that, and then just paint it. It's going to be clear, but it will be more of a wet finish. But here is that final result of this cement riser. Let me know your thoughts.
Well, friend, thanks again for watching another edition of Dollar Tree DIYs. I love creating these. These are just all in fun. Let me know which project was your favorite, and if you want to see more Dollar Tree DIYs, be sure to check out the playlist here at the end of the screen. I have some really exciting projects coming up soon, so be sure you're subscribed for that. Oh, don't forget 10% off your order with the discount code in the description box. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.